Hey guys, welcome to the JENsoft video tutorial. I'm going to go through JENsoft, what it does, what it doesn't do, everything in between. Feel free to ask questions if there's something I didn't cover. I'll try to be pretty comprehensive in this video. At any point, if you have a suggestion as well, just chuck it in Discord. First of all, when you get this executable, you'll get it from Discord in the downloads channel if you're subscribed. So I recommend putting it inside the JENsoft folder. This folder has an exemption for Windows Defender. So yeah, just pop it in there. This is the program, this sexy blue looking piece of meat on the left. This has a lot of different features. First of all, the loop launcher here and the dungeon queue configuration are the two main things that it does. So the loop launcher goes through loops. It just iterates over and over. You can do a lot of different things. The dungeon queue configuration, however, you can run dungeons back to back up to 6 sequentially. You can choose the level if you want to do level 5 for some reason, if you want to do 30 runs, 20 runs, 15. If we go to the panel selector now at the top, so this opens different panels. These panels have different functions. So the keybinds section, this correlates your keybinds in game to what JENsoft does. To make this really quick, if you guys just want to instantly set up, you can click the help button. You can click default skill locations. This is just the defaults. You can actually map this to anything that you want, and you do that in here. So if we wanted to change these buttons and whatever, so offensive buff 1 is on 0. If we wanted to move that somewhere else, you just change this to something else. You can also set a alternator here. So Alt, Control, or Shift. So this gives you the ability to do the same thing. So if you wanted to make it Control plus minus, you could do that. You just click Save. And now every time offensive buff 2 is Control plus minus, you've got to obviously map that inside of the game. So this will, JENsoft will actually work to your keybinds, can map to how you play the game, and it'll work just the same. It's a bit more setup, and that's why I say, once again, if you want to just find the default skill locations and then click reset keybinds, you can do that. The multi-sampling as well as the refresh rate doesn't matter. Set it to whatever you want, as well as the settings don't matter. You can run this on advanced graphic effect. Effects can be up, everything can be up. What does matter is to home or 11, especially for ECA and GI, the window and this UI setting. So it can't be fixed UI, and so you can't change this. So if you go to the keybinds over here and go to help, this gives a bit more of a breakdown on the other settings that are required. So we've got the res, the font, zoom is a huge one. So that needs to be unchecked. And just all the other ones that go through are the big ticket items that matter. So if we go to display settings and we see scale, you'll notice that I'm at 100%. If you're at 100%, you don't have to do anything. However, if you're at anything more than 100%, there's an additional thing that you have to do to make this work properly. And that is the DPI scaling fix. Essentially, what's happening here is CABAL, when you have 125% or 150 or anything greater than 100, CABAL is slightly blurry, meaning that the pixel checks of JENsoft become slightly out and you can start seeing some infrequent behavior. So this is essentially saying if you go to the path of cabal.exe, it doesn't need to be CABAL main for some reason, but CABAL, and then you go to properties, compatibility, change high DPI settings, and then go over here and click application and click apply, you'll notice that it doesn't bug out anymore. It still behaves exactly the same. It actually looks better. We should all have this on. I don't know why this is. It's just a bug and a feature of the game client itself. So just keep in mind, that's for people with over 100%. Once again, the keybind settings, they just go through all the different keybinds in the game. You want to align them to your client. You can run them to whatever you please. Quick slot page number is talking about these. So if you change it to 3 and you're on 3 and that's where your keybinds are going to be, that's great. Which tray, F1, F2, F3, F4. So this is F4, so tray 4. And then if you're a wizard, you need to put this on, but who's a wizard these days, honestly? This reset is going to be more or less the exact CABAL client at default. I think there's only a few things which might be select my character there, F8. Other than that, inside this potions location, so this is actually referring to inside the settings, there's a use potions. This is saying which page is your inventory for the potions. So mine is 6. I've got all the pots here. So if I want to use buff potion 1, let's say, I can set it to whatever I want it to be. It's referring to the grid of 8 by 8. So if this would be slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that would be 9. So if we wanted to use this 250 pen pot, you'd select that to 9. And essentially before this runs each dungeon, it's going to be using that buff potion slot 9. So I'll open the inventory, we'll use that before it goes in. Stack crafted items, what that refers to, and they're referring to this, when it automatically Chloe crafts, you're going to have shit everywhere. And so what this does, when it automatically crafts the sets, it's going to put them back here or wherever you've selected this to. If we go to the Dungeon Script Library panel selector, you'll notice that these have these checkboxes and crosses. This is just saying, is the script available for this class? So each of the dungeons are on the left, and it's a quick visual cue of, hey, does this dungeon exist for this class or does it not? You're going to find a list on Discord that's going to say all the dungeon scripts available. Each week I make a brand new one. So very soon we're going to have a whole lot of dungeons made. It's probably the easiest part of this whole program. The hardest part is making the program and making everything work in the back end. Apart from that, we've got the data section. This is just your account status. It's going to put your user ID here. It's going to say if it's expired or active, how many days remaining, just so you can see some other cool little stats and fun stuff. And this is pretty important here. When I do an update, which you're going to see in Discord, you'll be able to see if your version is up to date or if it's starting to get old. Every time I iterate, things might move, but it'll be better and make more sense. There'll be more dungeons, there'll be more features. If you go to the Discord update section, it'll explain all the updates in further detail if you needed to. More importantly, these are the links here to one's join Discord, one's to renew your subscription, and one's the JENsoft website. Something that I didn't cover as well is the events panel. So the events panel, look at this pleb running it manually. The events panel, if you turn on the controls here, it'll break down what is happening as JENsoft is running. So if you want to see a detailed breakdown of where you failed a dungeon, what happened, how it happened, it gives you a bit more context on if you missed an aura, if your character died, and sort of anything and everything is logged there. More importantly, if you're having a problem and I need to see what the problem is, if you have that on and just copy this over to me or export it, you can send it to me and I'll be able to better understand and break down what's happening on the back end. Let's go through how the dungeon queue configuration actually works. So you'll notice here that there is 6 different rows. Each of them can have their own dungeon. And so what that means is it's going to run them sequentially. So Chaos Arena 6 in this example, it's going to run 7 times. Then it'll move to the next dungeon, which is IC4 in this example, 30 times. However, if we want to set this up correctly, so just for the sake of things, I'll set them all to blank. Let's say we wanted to run Terminus, the UDX. So we go to UDX, Terminus Machina, and let's say we wanted to run 5 runs. Now, when you get the actual dungeon entry item, the entry that it uses to warp is on the last inventory slot of the corresponding number. So you see the dungeon queue configuration 2 refers to inventory 2 here. So the teleport to the actual dungeon needs to be on there. So once again, if we go for the third one, we want to run CA7 and we wanted to run, let's say 3 of them. As long as these come before, that's fine. It's just, it uses this one to teleport. So you need to make sure that the entries prior to the one that it uses to teleport are before it. And the teleportation is always in the last slot of the inventory. So we see this, we've got 2 runs there because it'll run those 2. So we'll do 3. And what else? If we wanted to run something here, let's say Edge of Phantom 2, we would need to get EOPs and it would need to use that teleportation. So let's put that as run 0 and we'll do a terminus with that. And remember, all these settings that you set here align with what it's going to be doing inside the run. So if I don't want to use SP pods, I would turn that off. If I want to disable this, etc. If I wanted to auto log in, got it. All these different things. So I do want to use remote shop card because I have it, Exchange DP. I don't want to auto join more. I've got that selected. Yes, use that. I don't want to ignore any of these. Do I want to enable extract inventory? I do. I don't want to sort the items. Let's say we will delete these. We'll turn this into one run just for the example, and then we'll show you that it will run into there. So when it comes to extracting the inventory, it's going to extract only the inventory that I select here, as well as it's only going to do it after all of the runs. So if this was 30, it's only going to do it after it's run 30 of them. It's each queue specific. It's not after every single run. So if we do 30 terminus, which we're going to do 1 in this example, it's going to then extract everything. So I'll turn it off because we're not going to have anything to extract. However, we may have some craft core sets and force essence to run. So I'm going to run this. This does its thing. That's just double checking that the window size is correct as well as the scale. So it's doing its thing, and you may notice I'm not doing shit. That's what matters here. That's how JENsoft works. So because I selected RNL to work, obviously it summoned RNL, and same thing with when it goes BM3. So if I wanted to pause this mid-dungeon, I can press pause. That's going to stop. Let's say I wanted to ignore monster loot. Okay. Now, when it runs and I unpause, it's going to ignore everything that the monsters drop, which is not the best thing. Still going to pick up the chests. That's good. However, you'll start noticing there's going to be owls left on the floor. Just like that. Once again, if you need a pause for whatever reason, you press the pause button, you type blah, 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 blah to your mate, you unpause, you may actually put that back off. And it keeps doing its thing. So you're not bound to, once you set it, you're stuck. It'll keep working the way it needs to work. So it's gone aura there. Normally I go aura much later, but obviously I keep pausing it and showing you some things. So it's automatically going to go aura when it can, in between dashes and fades and things like that in a safe place. It's pretty boring, not much to really say here. It's just doing its thing. So now it's coming up to the end. It'll go to the next dungeon queue because we only selected one run. There's an event right now, that's why I'm getting the silver trophy. So you may notice as well, I'm just going to pause it there, this thin line above is a checkpoint. So if at any point, especially something as long like ECA or GI, if you're looking at your computer and like whereabouts am I in GI and you need to see it in a glance, this checkpoint will be a pretty good gauge up here. It'll say what percentage you are of that dungeon run. So if it's halfway, it'll be somewhere here. If it's all the way near the end like it is now, it's there. You're going to notice it's going to disappear as soon as I unpause. And what it should do is teleport to PL and do the crafting. All right, so it's checking DP as well. All right, that's cool. Straight to Chloe. How convenient. It's opening the Chloe menu, and just like before, it's just gonna craft all the crap. And should we have set extract inventory after, it would extract inventory after it's done the upgrade core sets, so it doesn't break the upgrade cores. We're soon going to see, after it crafts this, it will go to the next dungeon queue, which is CA7. Cool. All right, so yeah, I did 4 sessions as well. Alrighty, with them out of the way, now it's going to go to, oh yeah, forgot about that. It's going to accept guild treasure. It's going to start the next queue, which obviously is at the end of the inventory slot. Now the settings, okay, it's currently 2 in the morning and I've just gone through the entire program and added tooltips all over it just to save me explaining each of them, cutting down the video as well. So now you can just hover over something you don't understand or you need a bit more clarity for, and it's just going to break down and tell you exactly what it matters, why it matters, and what it does. All right, so a bit of a change of scenery now. We're in DS. I'm going to explain the loop launcher and how it works and sort of the common features that people are going to want to do. I think I'll start with Chloe. So crafting all cores. If you click the unlock button here like I just did, what it's doing is just protecting it in case someone accidentally presses start. I should probably put an unlock on the run button too, but I mean, I've never misclicked that. For some reason, I misclick this one all the time. So clicking start is automatically taking you to Chloe. It's obviously you're going to need premium service for this. It's going to find its way there, just like it does after every single dungeon run. Gets to Chloe, starts crafting. It's just going to systematically go through every single core that there is to craft and craft them all into sets. And once it's done that, the loop launcher will complete. So there is other ones that are just going to go indefinitely. This is obviously, there's no point for this one to be run indefinitely. All right, so I'm going to go into the loop launcher, evaluate merit medals. So evaluate all merit medals. There we go. So just open it up, buy as many as you need. So I've got 15 here, I think. So we'll go 5 more. Get to the medal screen and click start. Here, this is a little pop-up that will just say, at what level do you want to stop at? It's going to stop automatically. So I'm going to just turn it off for now. So it's just going to keep evaluating them all, 4 out of 4. And the ping does matter. There's a bit of give here, so it doesn't have to be super accurate. But if you are on an absolute laggy piece of trash and you've set that too low, it's going to assume it's already been done. So make sure that you have at least some understanding of your direct ping here. So once we click start, it's going to automatically evaluate. It's going to go through. And so because I clicked off, it's just going to go 4 out of 4. It's going to keep doing it, trying to get the best thing and automatically reset them as it goes. So you start seeing that in a little bit. So that last medal was level 2, became level 2 again, so it doesn't really matter. Now we've got a few more level 2s. They all went higher than 2. There we go. Okay, so that last one is going to reset. That third one will reset. So this is all it just doing itself. So you can now finally just AFK. All right. Just making sure. And we get a little summary there. So we had some bad luck, you know, less than 7% below average. This is the breakdown of the medals and what they do. We're pretty garbage. We got no level 6, 7, or 8s. So that's it. And you go through here, obviously, your report. That's the only manual thing you have to do and call it a day. Apart from that, the map macros, Seni, people are going to use the most. When you select that, it's going to automatically TP you to Seni, either cap side or proc side, and just start a macro over and over. If someone kills you, it's just going to teleport back. There's not much they can do. Pretty annoying. You always win that battle. What else we got here? So events. When events come out, so like the Pillar Farm, First Mob macros, and B1F, as well as the Bingo, that was a good one. Everybody who used JENsoft got their Platinum merit all unlocked completely for free, because there was a, can't even remember what the condition was. I think it was just, I can't even remember. It was just exist. Just go on a level 1, make a new character, and then accept the time reducer and then switch over. I really can't remember what it needed. It was something so basic though. So if there's an event that comes out and there's something that we can utilize with JENsoft and the loop launcher or just the dungeon queue, just let me know and I'll make it. It doesn't take me long. And then just like the platinum time reducers, it probably took me a total of 40 minutes. So another important one is auto loot. So when you select auto loot, it's just gonna spam spacebar essentially for you. So this isn't me pressing anything at all. It's just gonna absolutely spam the shit out of it. If for some reason you want it a little bit slower, you just select the slower version. Auto silent loot, however, is in Keybinds. If you set, where is it? Item looting. So if we set it to F6, like it displays here, when I click auto silent loot, it's still gonna loot just like that. However, and how do I'm gonna pause just for a sec. I'll drop this over here. And so turn it back on. And so I'm typing right now, hey, I like bowls. And then it's still trying to loot, and it's gonna loot, but it gives me the option to type and play without it interacting and affecting when you type someone and you just spam spacebar and just there's this god awful message. So you can actually, you know, kill things, do things, loot some sick crude orbs, but it doesn't affect you typing to other players. So auto clicker is an amazing one that is totally underrated. What am I going to do? I will show you the best use of this. This actually works better if you have some terrible ping. So we're going to enter ordeal here. I'm going to switch to my normal setup. Oh, I can't. Cool. Well, I'll show you what that can do later, I guess. It's a really cool one. So it's obviously not a season yet, so I can't do that. If it is just clicking all over the place and you are sick of it, you press the hotkey to pause. So once again, the keybind, pause JENsoft. I've got it as the pause button on my keyboard. You can set this to whatever you want. So otherwise, if I leave it on, you'll be clicking all over the place, resizing the client, just making your life hell. Just press the pause button, do what you need to do. That's a really good example too. When the client's out of sync like that, you need to make the client again 1280 by 720. So you can select any res, it doesn't matter. It just changes it. Change it to something, then change it back. Once you change it back, we know it's set exactly to 1280 by 720. JENsoft expects this window size. And if it's not, things are not going to be in the exact location. It's not going to dash and fade in the exact location. Things aren't going to work the way they should work. This one's as close to just a normal macro as you can expect. However, on top of that, it's going to have auto health potions in the settings. It's going to have defensive skills on top of it when you get low instead of just spamming it. So for an example, I'm just going to select the retarget option. So it's just going to go through the different mobs and retarget and automatically kill what it needs to do. If I wanted to not loot like it is here in the settings, once again, I would go ignore monster loot, turn it on. And so there, it's just going to go through, do its thing without actually looting the crap on the floor. Auto war in the loop launcher is just going to be waiting out here on the right. As soon as it sees war pop up, it's going to instantly enter. It's going to do the war with the setting that you selected over here. And it's going to exit war when it's over and just keep waiting for the next war. So you can actually have, when you have this setting on and you've got these dungeons, it's going to be running these dungeons. And if war pops up during a dungeon, it's going to leave the dungeon to enter the war. However, if you just wanted to it just sit there waiting for war every second because there's an awesome war experience event or whatever else, you could set this in the loop launcher just to never end. And it would just keep doing that, entering war, exiting war automatically. Hey there, it's Jensen from the future. I've just gone through the video and clipped it, and holy shit, it's huge. So apologize for the size of that. I'm just trying to cover a bit more of the scope and what it can actually do. Next time I'll try and be much more concise. So if you watch the whole thing, you're crazy, but thank you very much. And, you know, enjoy. Good luck. If you need anything, just ask.